Are you looking to move your Mastodon account from one server to another? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we want to be covering migration using Mastodon. So before you move, there's kind of two catches, I guess, to a move, two things that people need to know that are kind of limitations on a move. So the first one is, and I think this is the biggest, you can't move posts. So Consultatron here has a post, he's getting ready to move, but this post here can't be migrated across to the new instance. This is kind of a long debated issue in Mastodon. Over here you can see the GitHub issue if you want to tune in and see if there's been any updates. I have opinions on this, which I put into the opinion videos, but yeah, I think it's kind of disappointing. I think that perfect is kind of the enemy of good on this one. Unfortunately, you're stuck with your posts staying on the old server. So see it kind of like a timeline. You have your timeline of when you're on one server, it ends, and then your timeline of when you're on another server begins. You don't delete your old account. That is the archive of that time on that server. You can move the followers. You can move your hashtags. You can move your lists. You just can't move the posts. They kind of stay permanently, baked in amber as a record of your time on that server. So then the next thing is your followers and following. And you'll notice I've got like a variety of followers and following set up here on the old Consultatron account. This over here, we're following a PeerTube account. This is the FidiHost account. This over here is a friend who's got a private profile who needs to approve followers. I've found these situations with private profiles and people who need to approve followers. They often don't migrate across properly. In fact, in my tests, they weren't even kind of given the you need to approve this new follower message. It just didn't do it. You'll also find that some accounts just don't migrate across. I'd say the majority of the time that's because it's actually a dead account. It's a ghost account. This tally of people that are following you, it's unlikely to actually be accurate. What happens on the Fediverse is often servers go down or delete themselves without sending a notification out to the Fediverse. Hey, we're going to delete this server. The accounts that you're following on it, they don't exist anymore. And so your server just kind of carries on going, well, I assume it's still there. And that's why you end up with these kind of ghost followers. I don't have any ghost followers on this account, but you'll find often when you complete the migration and you look at these two numbers, you might have lost, 5% or 10% of the people that are on here. So it's kind of useful, I find, to do a screenshot or to copy and paste them into a document. That way, if you come back and you go, oh man, a lot of these accounts have dropped off, you can at least go through and check to see who's dropped off and why. And I found when I've done this, I've gone, oh, okay, now I understand, that's why it happened. And it's good to have those records so you can go back and be like, oh, I really want to follow that person. You can send them a DM and be like, hey, this is actually just me over on my new account, So now, ready to do the migration. So the first step, and you may already have done this, is to create an account on the new server. So I've just created a new account on my new server, and for ease, I've labeled it New Consultatron. It can be kind of confusing because you're doing a migration from one server to another. So it's kind of good often to lay out your windows like this, where you put like one window over on this side and the other window over on the other side, and you're kind of going left to right. Here's my old account, here's my new account. Great, so step one, done, got the new account set up. So the next step on the old account here is to migrate our data. So you get this by accessing the preferences section, and you want to go to import and export. You have a whole list of the sorts of things that you can export, and then all these options to download the CSV. I think a lot of people might immediately go, oh, I got to request the archive, right? No, that's actually the archive of your posts and the media you've uploaded. And I think it's a good idea to grab it if you want to have for your own records for posts that you made. Obviously, at some point in the future, maybe Mastodon will have a upload posts sort of a feature, and you can then kind of download them here and put them up into it. So sure, if you're leaving the server, by all means, request your archive. However, if you don't really care about the old posts, you don't need to click on that. I recommend creating a folder. If your downloads folder is anything like mine, it's full of junk. So creating a folder, just so it's really clear what it is. Master move for me, grabbing each file, putting it in there with the default name, which will map to the uploads. There we go, 6 in a row. Done. And it's kind of highlighting here that you can't use this to export followers for obvious reason. You can't just be like, hey, I've got a list of the people who follow me. I promise. Update the records. Those need to be negotiated in a server-to-server sense, and then posts, which, as we discussed, those stay with the old server. So then, over on the new account, if we hit the cog, go to import and export, and then click import, you'll see this, which is the kind of mirror of the export page that mapped to the CSVs we just downloaded. So we can go through here for the following list. Let's choose the file, following accounts, upload, boom, confirm, great, bookmarks, choose bookmarks, upload. Great, bookmarks are done. Lists. Don't think I had any lists on this account, but you just do it all. Nope, there was nothing in there. Now we're down to muting. Don't think I had muted anyone, but let's do it anyway. 0 accounts. I confirm. Successfully did nothing. And then this is the one where it gets, I think, a little confusing. There's blocking list and domain blocking list. So we do blocking list and choose. You'll see there's blocked accounts and blocked domains. So blocking list is blocked account. And it does, it makes sense if you think it through, which would be which. But because there's two things called blocked and it doesn't map, it can be, whatever. Okay, you got it. So blocked accounts is the blocking list. You go upload, and there wasn't any data in this. And then the domain blocking list. The domain blocking list is blocked domains. So that one's more obvious, I think. But again, I didn't have any blocks on domains or on accounts. But that's probably the one little thing that can confuse you here. I just kind of wish that they would export the CSVs with the exact same name between things, So this is called ublock. But when you download it, it downloads a file called blocked accounts. And then when you go to upload, it's called blocking list, So you're kind of changing the name. I just think they should settle on one. If they want to call it blocking list, or they could clarify and call it account blocking list, and it would be called account blocking list. And then the CSV would be called account blocking list. That's just a kind of UX improvement that I hope that they'll make at some point. So the next step is to, on the new account, prepare the alias. So let's do that over here. So you want to go to Preferences. So we can set up the windows like this so we've got a little bit more space. So you go to Preferences, Account, and you'll see down the bottom there's these two things. Move to a different account, move from a different account. So this being the new server, we are wanting to move from a different account. So this is where you put the username and @domain of the account that you're coming from. That is this. Old consultatron at old.consultatron.com. Paste that in there. Create the alias. There it is. So before we go and do the mirror action on the other server, it's actually recommended to give a little bit of time for that information to propagate. So in the meantime, what I like to do is move some other things in the hashtags and get the account set up. So let's move the hashtags over. These aren't for some reason in the CSV export. Seems like another thing that they could do to improve it, but for now, you have to do it manually over here. You'll see followed hashtags as an option, and here are the hashtags. Grab the hashtag and search it over here. And you'll find this often happens. Basically what's going on is if you have a brand new instance, it's not federated at all. It doesn't know about the existence of a hashtag called letterheads. Like it doesn't know, is this a profile that it wants? Is this a hashtag? Is this a server? Your new servers have none of that. So you want to actually click on this quick action here, go to hashtag. Then you can go straight to the hashtag and click follow hashtag. Over here, and we have, so then we grab printing, same old thing, go to hashtag, follow hashtag, and then handshaking, one of Consultatron's absolute favorite things to do in the world. Go to the hashtag, follow the hashtag. Great. That's the hashtags migrated across. Next thing, on your new account, if you haven't already, set up your name and bio. So it's easiest to do this when you have your old account set up and sitting over in the other window. You can go, click Edit Profile. You can grab the names, Consultatron, paste it in the display name. any of the like bio fields or anything else, you could move those over. So I've just chucked in my profile and heading picture there. And, you'd think this is an automated account, being a robot and all, but I have a feeling that Consultatron might just be a guy in a tinfoil suit. And then when you're over here in the old Consultatron, this is where it's a good idea to make the note that this is moved, because for some period of time, you'll probably keep your old account open. It's helpful to let people know that the account's been moved. So when you search for this name, for example, inside some Mastodon app, there's no guarantee that they're going to kind of handle redirecting people over to the correct profile or notifying them. So by changing the username, you just make it really clear this has moved. You could type anything you want in here. You could change your bio to you. Just as many like hints as possible that the account has moved is a good idea. So when it comes to people we're following, that was done through one of those CSVs. You can see that 4 of the 5 accounts have moved over. So if we look over at our Mastodon account here, there's 5, and a private friend hasn't been moved. Out of curiosity, let's have a look at the private friend server. So here's private friend, and over here we can see there's a follow request from new Consultatron. So it's great. Private friend just needs to authorize this. But you can see how there can be an issue here. When you get a follow from like an imposter account sometimes on a social media platform, understandably, this person may think this isn't actually you. So it's a good idea to, keep an eye on that list and reinforce like, no, this really is me. And it's another good reason to have your old account set up with moved, so that when they go to look at the old account, they go, oh, I see what's happened. They've migrated across. So I'm going to accept that. And then there's now 5 on both accounts. So all the followers have migrated over. Now it's time to do, I think, the big step, the followers, the people who are following your old account, and get them moved across as well. So provided it's been, 5 minutes since you set up the other alias, move over here on the old account, open up account, and then click on move to a different account. So here we want to put the handle of the new account in, new Consultatron, and then obviously your password, and we hit move followers. All right. And you can see over here already got a notification. Oh, you got a new follower. 5 new followers. Excellent. Right. And if we have a look, 6 followers. Now, this process takes a while. The notifications get sent out to all the servers, letting people know, hey, this account's migrated across. The thing is that that job is a low priority job on servers. It's the sort of thing that kind of sits in the background, and when everything else has been taken care of, they'll finally go and update their record. So you'll see it'll kind of gradually go through and it migrates people across. Now, if we go to the actual kind of account, you'll see this is the banner that gets put up. Consultatron moved has indicated they've moved to this account. This is what people see when they go to the web interface. There's no guarantee that they'll see this sort of information if you're using a third-party client, but it's here on the web and on apps that implement Mastodon well, it'll be there. Now, typically, if you have a large number of followers, like thousands of followers, this follower migration will not pick up everyone in a single move, and you'll have to run the process again. But there is a cooldown period on it. So if you go over here, move to a different account, you'll see this notification. You have recently migrated the account. This function will become available in 30 days. I have run into this before where it didn't migrate all the followers over, and I put a little event in my calendar in 30 days, and I ran it again, and I picked up another kind of dozen people. It's kind of this diminishing returns, you run it once, you get 90% of people. You run it again, you get 90% of that remaining 10%. You run it again, you get 90% of the remaining 10% of that. When I had a look and saw like who hasn't migrated across, it turned out that it was dead accounts that didn't actually exist anymore. It looks like the PixelFed account has moved across, and so that was it. That's a complete migration. We've got 8 followers, which is actually one more than we started with because the old account decided to follow this account. And we've got 5 people following. One last thing to keep in mind here is your old account is now in this migrated state with your old posts on it. You can still log into the account, but you can't use the account. You can always reactivate the account. You can cancel or redirect, and you can take the account back over. And you can obviously fully delete the account. And when it comes to fully deleting the account, it's a little complicated. The best practice is generally to keep the account up. However, I found that search engines often index and prioritize the old account long after you've stopped using it. And it's quite frustrating, obviously, how kind of stupid they are. They can't seem to pick up on the redirect notification. They can't pick up that it hasn't changed for a year, and there's a link to another thing, and that is changing. I hope over time that search engines will get smarter about realizing they're looking at a Mastodon instance and it is telling them that it is no longer active and that the real account is over here. But for now, search engines are amazingly dumb with Mastodon. If you find yourself in this situation and are just like, I don't care about the posts anymore and I just like to remove the account, I've gone and I've updated and I've told everyone where my new account is, the website links have been updated, or the description of videos that I've done and my Instagram posts, or everything that I can possibly think of has been updated. DuckDuckGo and Google still are linking to the wrong account. You might decide, okay, I'll make it really clear to them. I'll give them a good old-fashioned error when they go to open the account. That will usually get it pulled from the search results fairly quickly. And if you want to do that, you just log into the account, scroll down to the bottom, delete accounts there, click proceed. I would recommend giving this at least 6 months before you do this. Let everything update. Let the people who go to your old account see that it's been moved and go over to the new place and follow you there. Give it some time, then you can go here and hit delete account. And that is the end of old Consultatron. Rest in peace, old Consultatron. Long live new Consultatron. Okay. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing. If you have any questions about migration, chuck them down below in the comments. If you are doing a migration to GoToSocial from Mastodon, which, some people are doing these days, I think the steps are fairly similar, but I'm actually going to create a whole different tutorial on how to do that, which should be up in a couple of weeks. FediHost's actually launching GoToSocial as a service, so thought it might be helpful for people who are wanting to move between the two. Anyway, that's it for now. I hope you enjoy your new Mastodon account.